And that's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about that vortex that happens in here. All right, so remember how in our last video we were out in the woods. It was about 70 something degrees, t-shirt and jeans, and the kids were absolutely enjoying it out there. Well, if you take a look around, this is exactly what we're dealing with here today. So you can see back there, the sun is peeking in and out, trying to come out, trying to light up the area here. But all morning today has been kind of gloomy. It's been raining, and the snow just started coming down. So it's been snowing since about 9. And right now it's about 3 o'clock or 4 actually, 4 p.m. But this is what we're working with right now. It wasn't cold enough for it to stick on the ground, but it's a good 29 degrees right now compared to that last video where it was 70 something. We were out enjoying the woods and the sun was absolutely cooking it out here. But we have a lot of snow dealing with that today. Well, today's video was supposed to be about going out and getting some soil, getting some mulch, getting some things ready to, you know, revitalize the garden and put some mulch and some soil down for a lot of these plants. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the video we're doing today because, you know, the snow came down, and we're absolutely okay with it because we were about to start cleaning up the garden. And I'm actually glad we didn't because we knew we were going to get some type of cold weather that was going to come out here. And one thing we didn't want to do is start disturbing any of those beneficial insects or, you know, any type of animal that's hidden anywhere in the garden that actually provides for the garden. You know, we have the frogs, we even had some garden snakes out here, and I hopefully believe that they do a lot here in the garden as far as, you know, some mice. We have the woods back there, so you do get some field mice, but I hopefully believe that, you know, it's a whole ecosystem back here in the secret garden. And so we're going to focus the video today on the secret garden because I know that's one of the videos that a lot of people are actually watching right now, and we want to talk about some of the stuff that we have going on in the secret garden. Angie's not going to be able to join us here today. It's a weekend. This is a day for her to actually get some stuff done in the house and, you know, take care of herself. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Angie was really focusing on out here in the garden. For instance, this flying machine forsythia that we actually got from Peru Winters as one of the first trial plants we ever did, and it was in a quart-sized container. Now here we are about 3.5 years later, and it's absolutely looking amazing. Has some blooms on it, looking beautiful. Hopefully the snow and cold temperatures don't affect it too much because we're looking forward to this one having a great show. And we'll let Angie do another video on this one, talk a little bit about more in depth so she can give that information on this plant here. Speaking of plants like the flying machine forsythia, let's talk about deciduous plants because I know that's a big topic when it comes to a garden and its structure. For instance, like this hydrangea right here. A lot of these hydrangeas are deciduous, and some of them really don't look that great in winter or fall. And I think that's a big question that we've gotten before is how do you work with something like that? I know what Angie does is she works as far as layering these plants in the garden with other plants that are non-deciduous, like these arbs right here, for instance, that keep their foliage and their green all season long, and they absolutely look beautiful. And it's just a matter of playing with those layers and actually setting them up with other plants to be able to work in a garden like that and provide some type of structure. We don't have many evergreens in this garden, but we have just enough to create the right atmosphere in here to constantly make it look like there's something growing in the garden and making it look like a garden all season long. As you can see back there, we have some boxwoods that have plenty of green on them, and they absolutely look beautiful. They provide some structure, and we have some everywhere in the garden. We have some back by the wall there where we have the arbs. We have this one here, we have these boxwoods here, we have a couple more arbs on that side of the garden, and then we have some hollies over here. So we have some green in different parts of the garden to keep it looking like there's something always happening here. And these hydrangeas just play that layer effect and just have, you know, have some type of effect in the garden that, you know, it doesn't take away from everything else. And we do have, like, some of these do have some blooms that we leave on there. And a lot of them, like the limelight hydrangeas, have beautiful dry blooms that absolutely look gorgeous covered in snow. But it's just a matter of how you play with them and how you layer them in the garden to have something still looking great and like there's something actually going on in every spot of the garden here. And speaking of every spot in the garden here, we have our wall here where our arbs actually are along the wall here. As you can see, every time it snows out here, it gets, for some reason, it just gets really, really windy. The snow just wants to play around here in the garden. And I'll turn around the camera real quick to show you guys. But the big maple tree that we have up there, it kind of provides this weird barrier where, you know, the wind comes in from over here, and then it comes right here behind me and just creates a vortex. And once it hits that spot on the tree, some of that wind escapes over there, but most of it just comes in here, creates kind of a weird vortex, and on its way out this way, and I'm probably making you dizzy, but on its way out that way, it tends to want to blow everything aside there, and it just keeps coming down. And I'll show you a little bit closer on that pot. It falls down. Now, it's not because of freezing temperatures or anything like that. This container is broken. It's actually broken because it's fallen that many times. It's just a weird spot how the wind gets in here, but that's basically what we're dealing with every time we have the winter. But going back to talking about evergreens and stuff like that, that's a spot in the garden that provides a lot of green in here and makes it look like there's something actually still happening. And I'll take you over to this side where we have the hollies up against the door. Now the sun's going to be right in my eye here, but as you can see, we have those hollies back here. I'm trying to find them on the camera. There we go, because the sun's right in my eye. But we have those hollies there, and they provide some structure back here as well. And then we have the roses. They have, you know, kind of a green stem. They don't really turn brown or dark during this time of year, but we have a lot of structure still going on back there. And I did want to show you a lot of the other stuff that's going on in the garden, because we have a lot of projects, a lot of cleanup going on. There's a wreath that Angie's working on. There's a bowl of water there for the birds. We like to throw seed down. And then we have a bunch of, show you over here, because some of the projects, like I said, we're going to do some cleanup and stuff today and add some mulch, some fresh mulch, some soil in certain areas. We have a bunch of violas back here, and that was part of the plan. Was Angie's going to put some violas and pansies down in different parts of the garden, because we gave them some fertilizer and they were starting to pop up. They're starting to look beautiful. They're starting to provide a lot of that color. I'll pop a picture up there of the purple ones up in the front of the house. They absolutely look beautiful after they got some fertilizing done. So let's show you some of these right here that are actually covered in snow. And that's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about that vortex that happens in here. Just caught me off guard, so I had to put the camera down for a little bit. But absolutely crazy how that wind just makes its way in here and creates a vortex of snow. And I could hear that fence just creaking with all that wind just hitting back there. So that's exactly what happens. That's why that container keeps falling. But back to what I was talking about, the violas, yes. Angie had a project today as far as putting those violas in the ground and just distribute them throughout the garden as the warm weather makes its way here, so we can have a little bit of color just popping up somewhere. But another thing too is we have back here is we have some actual tulips that were kind of doing their own thing. These tulips were not supposed to pop up. I thought we pulled them all out of this bed back here, but they're starting to pop up, and there's quite a bit in this bed down here, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because we thought we grabbed them all out, because we weren't planning on putting these tulips here. We were planning on doing a whole bunch of different colors, as opposed to what we did the year before. So those tulips are actually coming up, and it's pretty exciting because it's only a handful of them, but you know, we have other plans in that bed come spring. But pretty exciting to see different things popping up. I mean, it's always exciting to see things popping up in the garden, because you know, that's a sign of the season starting to begin. And I know a lot of people are very excited for this season to start, you know, making its way, because there's just a lot of fun stuff I think that we're going to be able to do this year. A lot of things happened last year as far as the fence, the painting of the house. I got really, really sick. Just a lot of busy things going on last year, and I think we're in a point where it's kind of calmed down. I think we're going to be able to settle a bit more and do a lot more stuff here in the garden. Another evergreen we have in the garden is these camellias right here. Unfortunately, it just got way too cold, and I think the buds just froze midway through their blooming process because of the way the weather was going. As you can see, we have those buds right there. They were ready to open. They opened for us last year and absolutely looked beautiful, but I think just the fluctuation in temperatures here kind of tricked them into wanting to bloom, and then that cold, frigid temperature just came in the middle of winter earlier this year and kind of froze them to where they're at right there. So we didn't get to see those come out. So unfortunately, that's part of, you know, the seasons here in Virginia. All right, now to talk about what plans we have for the secret garden here, because I know a lot of you were excited about that video last year. A lot of people loved the secret garden, loved what was going on in here, and we absolutely loved it as well. It was one of the favorite parts of what we're doing gardening here, because it was just amazing how much we actually had in here, how beautiful it looked. But one of the things we wanted to show you guys was the path here, because we had some carrots grass. Again, going back to that evergreen and having some type of structure, the carrots grasses are evergreens, and they were supposed to stay very, very green. Unfortunately, that hasn't really happened. We've just had a lot of snow, a lot of weird temperatures here. We've done a lot of different things to the ground here, because what happens is it does tend to build up and soak up a lot of water here in the ground. So even though we have these evergreens and we have some plants that love boggy areas, sometimes we think it might be just a bit too much water in the ground. So we're kind of seeing what has made it, what hasn't made it. We have some plants that we're hoping are going to pop back up this spring, like some of the astilbe we have in here, some of the other grasses we have in here. We even have some hookers that we put in baskets to try to minimize how much water actually gets into the ground, into those roots of those hookeras, and hostas. Hostas as well. We have some hostas, and those are planted in baskets as well. So we're trying to minimize how much water actually gets into those roots there. But again, going back to what we're doing in this garden, we've laid down some rock, we've laid down some garden path rocks as well, to kind of minimize how much we're actually trampling over all this area. And you know, so it's pretty exciting to get back into the garden and kind of do stuff in here to, you know, to make it look the way it was, and you know, and have that beautiful scenery we had when we had the secret garden. Again, new fence, so it's kind of taking on a different look. Doesn't have that patina style fence that we had in here, so actually makes it fun, because we get to work in here, we get to decide what we're gonna do and how it's gonna look this year. So it's always fun in this garden, always fun, especially with our lifestyle when we move around and stuff like that. So, and here's that window box right there, absolutely looking beautiful. We have some plants for that window box this year. It's always fun to play with that window box because it's very, very shady, and so we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with that, and I think we have a pretty good idea of what we're actually doing there. But again, those evergreens, those boxwoods there look absolutely amazing. And then one of our favorite trees, me and Angie, let me turn around here, is this HISEA dogwood here that we have. Absolutely beautiful. The variegation and this dogwood is amazing. We absolutely love this dogwood. We're glad that we found it because it provides a great structure for the entrance here in the garden, along with some of the other plants that we put here. And we have here on the path, we have some plants that, you know, we were pretty excited to put in here. We have these containers. See if I can open them up here. But we have some hellebores right there. You can see that? I'll throw some photos on there when they were starting to bloom, but absolutely beautiful. The hellebores are starting to bloom. Hopefully, again, they're not affected like everything else that, you know, with the snow and these cold temperatures are coming through here. But that's pretty much what's been happening in the garden. It's not the prettiest of sights because there's so much stuff going on back here, but we've been doing a lot of changes. Angie has been moving a lot of stuff around. As you can see back there, some of the containers that we have, because she's restructuring what's going on in the garden. That's one of the fun parts of this secret garden back here, is being able to restructure stuff and be able to change things around the way we want to, but you know, not moving it so much right now as to not you know, interfere with what's happening with nature going around this. We have a lot of the birds, my little favorite birdhouse right there. I got to fill that back up with seed, but we have a lot of the birds that come in here. They absolutely enjoy hiding out in all these evergreens. That one right there, the ones along the wall, they love hanging out in there in the cold temperatures. They hide out from the wind. But you know, we try not to move too much stuff around. But again, it's always fun in this garden, being able to restructure everything that's happening around here, because it's a fun part about this garden back here, is being able to do what we want. Before I go, I want to mention Gertrude Jekyll right there. As you can see her behind me, she's already up on the door there. Some green's starting to pop out. I've tied her up against the wall here a little bit better. I'm not going to do much pruning to it. I know people are looking forward to a video about pruning our climbers, but we're not going to do too much pruning to it. We'll get to that once the weather starts to calm down a bit and we get a little bit warmer temperatures, because I don't want it to get affected by the cold weather. But that's something we're going to do in a separate video, do some maintenance to it, adding some soil, some fertilization, and pruning it just right to where we get this beautiful rose to bloom. As you can see, there's a bunch of growth up on top there. So we're excited for Gertrude Jekyll, because she's a fun one to have here in the garden. And we have some other roses, like I said, back here that are absolutely looking beautiful, that we've put on a trellis, and we're trying to make them into climbers. We have pearly gates right there. And I'm getting carried away again, but just that's pretty much it, guys. Just wanted to show you what's going on in the garden, all this structuring, all the cleanup we're doing here, and what we're actually looking forward to this year. Didn't get to bring you the videos we were going to do this week because of this weather. We're going to go get some soil. do some maintenance, some cleanup in the garden. But always exciting to show you guys what's happening in the garden, and I'm glad that you guys are sticking around. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy what you see here, and you know what's there to look forward to in this garden, because we're going to have a lot of fun this year. Hopefully no more distractions, you know, the new fence, the pain in the house, me getting sick, just life and work in general. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in the next one. I have to buy another pot for that one there.